Meeting and
All right.
call to meeting of the Board of Public Health Zoom meeting, March 11, 2025. This is a virtual meeting, so per the Massachusetts General law, all votes will be roll call vote. The meeting is being recorded, and those at home can connect through the website at the town. So I'll call the meeting to order. Those who are present, Marcia Lewis,
Marcia Lewis here.
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick,
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick here.
Paul Schubert here. The meeting is open. First up on the agenda is 17 Hillside Drive septic repair plan. And I believe Rick Grady will be presenting for Geomat leaching system with Grady Consulting.
That is correct. Rick Grady from Grady Consulting here. On with Zach Lombardi, the applicant. It's okay if I share my screen?
Oh, I'm sharing if that's okay.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
Unless you want to show something different.
You know, this view here looks perfect. So,
Okay.
this is an existing home at 17 Hillside Drive. There's a wetland area to the back that you can see with wetland flags 1 through 7. We met with conservation last week and they approved this under a request for determination of applicability. We have an existing system in the front yard here, closest to Hillside Drive. It's a little difficult to see it because we're proposing the new system over the old system. It's a raised ranch style house. We're proposing a 1,500 gallon septic tank, 1,500 gallon pump chamber, distribution box, and a bed of geomat leaching area. It is a, let's just zoom in here just a touch. It is a 4-bedroom dwelling, so we'll be maintaining that at 4 bedrooms. We've placed it as far from the wetland resource area as we're able to do for this property by placing it in the front yard adjacent to Hillside Drive. It's about 80 feet from the wetlands, maybe 85 feet actually. The local upgrades that we're requesting here are for the use of a sieve analysis in lieu of a standard percolation test. The material is a sandy loam material, class 2. So we've sized it with an effluent loading rate of 0.33 gallons per day per square foot as required by DEP in Title V. The second local upgrade request is a reduction in the requirement for 12-inch separation between the inlet and outlet tees of the tank and high groundwater elevation. Existing plumbing for this is below the slab, so we are tight to get that out of the house and into the septic tank and pump chamber. We did revise the plan to provide about 1 inch of separation above high groundwater in the inlet and outlet tees in response to a comment from Pam. And we also added a local upgrade request for 1 deep hole performed in the proposed disposal area instead of the required 2 due to the limited area to dig test holes in this front yard here with the existing system and also the water line. We are proposing to relocate the water line to provide 10-foot separation as shown on the lower part of the screen there coming in from the left-hand side. Currently cuts across where the pump chamber is proposed. We are able to pretty closely maintain existing grades here. The Geomat system comes with a IA approval letter that allows for a 2-foot separation to groundwater. So we're able to restore this front yard back to existing grade when the system construction is completed. So no big mound in the front yard. And I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, are there any questions from the board? No? Uh, So this is, again, one of the standard septic system upgrades that we've seen. That was a failed Title V. So at this point, it's passed all of the necessary requirements, and I would ask for some motions. It looks like there'll be probably 4 of them. Ask for a motion to approve 310 CMR 15.4051I, which is the use of a sieve analysis where a standard percolation test could not be performed due to high groundwater in the pervious layer of soil. And ask for a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to the use of a sieve analysis where a standard percolation test could not be performed due to high groundwater in the pervious layer of soil.
Is there a second?
I second.
Roll call vote. Marcia Lewis,
Marcia Lewis, aye.
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick,
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye.
Paul Schubert, aye. The motion passes unanimously, no nay votes. Second is an approval for the reduction of the requirement of the 12-inch separation between the inlet and the outlet. Ask for a motion to approve that. Is there a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve 310 CMR 15.4051J for reduction of the requirement of a 12-inch separation between the inlet and outlet tees and high groundwater.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
And roll call vote. Those in favor, Elizabeth Kirkpatrick,
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye.
Marcia Lewis,
Marcia Lewis, aye.
Paul Schubert, aye. It passes unanimously, no nay votes. The third is an approval to allow, ask for a motion to approve 310 CMR 15.4011K to allow 1 depot performed in the proposed disposal area.
I'll make a motion to approve 310 CMR 15.4051K to allow 1 depot performed in the proposed disposal area.
Is there a second?
I second.
And call for a vote. Marcia Lewis,
Marcia Lewis, aye.
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick,
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye.
Paul Schubert, aye. Motion passes unanimously, no nay votes. And then there's a final wrap up is just the ask for a motion to approve the septic repair plan system for 17 Hillside Drive, Cohasset, Mass. Prepared 2/4/25, revised 3/10/2025.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the septic repair plan system for 17 Hillside Drive, Cohasset, Massachusetts, prepared February 4th, 2025, and revised March 10th, 2025.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
And roll call vote. Elizabeth Kirkpatrick,
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye.
Marcia Lewis,
Marcia Lewis, aye.
and Paul Schubert, aye. The motion passes unanimously. No nay votes. Good luck with the construction of it. It looks like you got kind of tight edges there, but these new systems really fit in nicely in Cohasset. So that makes it a little bit easier than in the past.
It is an open grass front yard there too, so no trees in the way, so got plenty of room to work. Very good. Thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Let's see here. For some reason I can't mute my voice, but that's okay. Oh, there it is. Next up is approval of the minute meetings from February 11, 2025, Cohasset Board of Public Health. Any discussion?
No.
And ask for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 11, 2024, 5/25.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 11th, 2025.
And is there a second?
My second.
All in favor? Marcia Lewis,
Marcia Lewis, aye.
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick,
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye.
Paul Schubert, aye. And the meetings minutes have been approved for February 11, 2025. Motion passes. Next up is the next meeting date. Let me just bring up the big board here. would be April. So April, either the first or second week, is that okay? The 8th or the 15th?
Works for me.
The 8th, I can't do the 8th, but I could do the 15th.
Okay. So April 15th, would that work for everyone?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
good. So we'll do April 15th at 6 p.m. And once again, I'll ask, is it still okay? Virtual meeting is still good?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. I haven't heard anything from the state that they're going to change that, so I think this is going to be a relative routine meeting option, which is kind of nice. Next up is the Public Health Director report.
So last week we actually got together in person. Am I echo? Okay. With our PHE group. And it was kind of nice to see everybody in person. And we kind of just went through the surveys that were put out by Mass Department of Public Health. They want all health departments to do them. They're kind of a big ask. I know Susan Sarney from Hingham said it took her 16 hours just to do this cost tool, which is basically summarizing like all the revenue and expenditures that you have in your health department. And then next up after that is this really detailed look at all the activities that you do, and it goes into a lot of detail. So anyway, it's good that we're all getting that done. We had someone from the state that came down and helped us out. That was good. And then even better news is that we've got 3 signatures so far for that IMA, and Situate's supposed to get both of theirs this week, and then that just leaves Hingham Select Board. So once we finally get that thing signed, we can get our next payments, get the money flowing again, because they've penalized us and are holding back money, which we could use one more payment to get through this fiscal year. I mean, there's actually 2 out there, but if we even just get one, we'll be fine. So it's good. We're moving forward and everybody seems to be working well together. So that's good. So that's my update.
Excellent. Next up is the Public Health Nurse report.
I apologize for no camera. First I couldn't log in and now I can't get my camera on. I even had a couple people try to help me, but it's not to be. Thank you. So I really don't have anything to report tonight. Things have been kind of quiet, which is nice. Perhaps next time I'll have something exciting to tell you, but for tonight, I really don't have anything.
Okay, great. So the only other thing that's left is topics not reasonably anticipated of the chair 40 hours in advance. Just a quick update. I did a quick tally at South Shore. There's 5 COVID cases. There's 5 flu, 4 type A, 4 type B, way down from probably a month ago. I think they were in the mid 40s to 50s. So I think we're on the tail end of the flu season, which is kind of good. It was a pretty heavy flu season compared to past seasons. This would approach the 2015, 2016 flu season, which was very, very busy. So I think we're heading out of the woods for that. The other one thing which is out there, which the Texas Health and Human Services reported their numbers for the measles outbreak, which is currently ongoing in West Texas, which is probably the largest measles outbreak in America, I think in probably 10 years, at least longer. First death in over 10 years, and it was a school-aged child. In addition, there was a young person, believe in the early 30s that died from measles as well. They posted cases at 223 in the Texas outbreak. It's, I guess, one thing that does, you'll wonder what the total number of cases there are, because on average you'll have typically 1 death per 1,000 in a developed country with a measles outbreak, unvaccinated. There have been 2, and both unvaccinated. That would put you at a range of about 2,000 cases in that area alone. So I suspect it's underreporting of the cases. The The other thing which I am really, I need to forcefully say that vitamin A has been used in developing countries for severe measles infections, and there is some association with lower blindness with vitamin A treatment and severe measles infection. This has not been shown to be proven effective at all in the developing world, where malnutrition is not widespread. So clinicians will give vitamin A in pretty much every measles case because you don't want a kid to go blind, but the effectiveness is suspect in any nourished individual. Cod liver oil for the same thing. Clarithromycin does not. Budesonide as a inhaled steroid does not treat measles. It would be a supportive care. The treatment is basically isolation when someone has it, respiratory support as they need it, but far more important is the vaccination free pre-exposure. There is up to 72 hours ability to give someone a live attenuated measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, which would attenuate an infection. So if you have an outbreak, you can circularly, kind of surround those who have been exposed and unvaccinated and prevent up to 72 hours with vaccination profile being up to date. You'll actually prevent spread. So I just want to kind of let everybody know that, and it's discouraging.
The state sent out an excellent advisory today about measles and measles vaccination. The information there is wonderful. And to me, it's, the best and most concise set of information I've seen anywhere. They did a really great job at that.
They did, and they specifically looked at, those who are traveling, who are unclear whether they've gotten the second dose. I'm in that magic window period between 1957 and 1968 where combination of exposure and a vaccine that was subadequate for effective protection from, I think it was probably 62 or 63 or 64, up until 68 when a superior vaccine came out in 68 with a live attenuated measles. So anyone that is basically in the 65 age group, a little younger, a little older, are at risk for having vaccination profile that is not quite up to speed. If there's a concern, talk to, have anyone in that age group. If they have not had measles, have them, check with their doc, and they can get a titer or they can get a booster. It's fairly simple.
I just got my titers done last week because I didn't have the measles as a kid. I was seronegative. I got my first MMR last Saturday.
So you were titer negative?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's about a 3% risk or 3% non-conversion with the vaccine. So you'll see that. And the question is, as time goes on, will it be as protective? We get older, the immune system is less if someone's immunocompromised, if they're under chemotherapy, all the other factors at play. But it's exceedingly contagious. This is a nasty one. So any other comments?
Yeah, it also spread to Oklahoma today.
I mean, it's not surprising. It with in years past before there was air travel or even train travel, it would you'll have outbreaks that are relatively contained in a city. In years past, it was every 3 years you would have a measles outbreak because it was so contagious that it would go through the population, and you need to have a new crop of kids. So when they got to be 3 years of age, and those who never got exposed, then you would have a source of spread. And so measles typically prior to the vaccination, historically was a 3-year cycle that you'd oftentimes see every 3 to 4 years a significant outbreak. So we may see the something like that in the next, this year is going to be, I suspect, quite a few cases.
And does it usually peak in the spring? I forget.
No, it's typically a winter time.
Mhm,
So
winter.
it will be typically, January, February, March, and then, oftentimes with kids more in school. Once once it's there, it spreads like wildfire. So it's a pretty good virus to spread, it knows what it's doing.
Yep.
So,
Probably we never had the need to develop a good antiviral because we wiped it out with vaccine prevention.
That's right. I mean, the antivirals for things like RSV were out there with ribavirin. We had a lot of antivirals for HIV because there's no vaccine for it. But you're right, there was never a antiviral. Likewise for mumps and rubella. So
Did you
that's
say, oh, may I ask, I didn't quite catch it. Did you say the 2 individuals that passed, they were or were not vaccinated?
they were not vaccinated. No.
Thank you.
So that's all I have. Any other comments or any? All
So
right.
Elizabeth, is
Good.
next month your last meeting?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess, when so the elections is like May 17th.
Oh, so maybe you go to May then.
Yeah, unless you
To the
push the
elections.
meeting.
It'd be like May
Well,
18th.
We're gonna have it early.
Have you had any luck finding any interested candidates?
I haven't.
Not
Do you
yet,
have any
no.
recruitment strategies?
Well, if we don't have enough, for a quorum at times, and we go to the Board of Selectmen, they can appoint someone. Is how it would typically get done.
Yeah.
No, I
That's
was
how
thinking.
I started.
Yeah, I mean, at a former meeting, we mentioned that locally, Dr. Pompeo had retired. I think he might be interested in joining the board.
He might, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you know him, Paul?
I do, yeah, I worked with him. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. Just
I
a
mean,
thought.
I could ask him. Yeah, I think he's full on retirement mode.
Okay.
How about Lynn Doxey? Do you think she would have any interest in coming back?
I don't know, maybe. I
can-
asked Stephanie, who was our, social worker who also lives in Cohasset. I told her, spread it around a little bit. She thought maybe the woman that runs the food pantry now might be interested, but I'm not sure. It hasn't really come to fruition yet.
Yeah.
I'm happy to
Hopefully.
help and ask both, I think it's Jane from the food pantry. And I have a little bit of, not history, but I do know Dr. Pompeo. I'm happy to reach out and just, maybe he wants to keep his hand in it a little bit.
Sure.
That'd
I
be
mean,
great.
this is a wonderful board to work with. It's so efficient and it's really good.
It's definitely, it's a pretty easy lift for being on a board, I have to admit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of support in the town and it's, except for I think for the first meeting I attended.
Right.
The rest was
I know,
quite-
because I promised you it'd be an easy lift, and then it was terrible the first meeting.
Was that because of COVID?
No, it was because it was a contentious, issue. So
Yeah. We had to have a hearing and we had to post a hearing. It was
yeah,
like being on the Board of Selectmen for a brief moment.
right. Got
I
better
mean-
after that.
When I first started, the meetings were 2 or 3 hours, these Board of Health meetings. But I think it had a lot to do with the health agent and personality.
It's a little long for me.
Dr. Schubert, how long ago was that first meeting?
4 years ago? No, 3 years ago, two and a half years ago,
Yeah,
I think.
say 3.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
worth a rewatch? Should I try to find it in the archives?
Oh, you can enjoy. Well, if there's no other comments, then I guess at this point I would ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the Board of Health meeting.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Uh, uh, A roll call vote, Elizabeth Kirkpatrick,
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye.
Marcia Lewis,
Marcia Lewis, aye.
and Paul Schubert. We'll see you next month. All right.
Right.
Take care.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.